After Harrison Ford's devastating illness, has his wife actually said goodbye, or are these rumors simply that? Fans are forced to wonder if the headlines are true as the news spreads. Take a peek at Harrison's remarkable trip before we get into the details of the theory. We will delve into Harrison Ford's rise to fame, beginning with his days in Hollywood and ending with his status as one of the most legendary performers of all time, while he navigates this challenging period in his life. In Chicago, Illinois, Harrison Ford set out on his quest on July 13, 1942. As the child of parents from different cultural origins, Ford experienced a blending of his Jewish and Irish upbringing. Dorothy Neidelman, his mother, was a Jewish refugee from Minsk, Belarus, who had a career as a radio actress. John William Christopher Ford, who was of Irish Catholic heritage and who worked in advertising, had a brief foray into acting. The combination of these cultural factors had a profound impact on Ford's outlook and personality. Ford frequently made the funny observation that, despite the many traditions present in his home, he and his younger brother Terence were raised as Democrats. His liberal upbringing and the family's liberal political and social ideals were reflected in this playful remark. As an actor, Ford felt Jewish, but as a man, he felt Irish. This is just one example of the many identities he juggled throughout his life. Though Ford had a pretty ordinary upbringing in the Chicago suburbs, he displayed the daring personality trait that would later define his cinematic character. As a dedicated scout, he worked his way up to Life Scout, the second highest rank in the Boy Scouts of America. Curiously, his acting career would benefit from this encounter in the future. At Park Ridge, Illinois' Maine East High School, Ford was a mediocre student who showed signs of interest in the performing arts. He got his start in the media industry as the news host for WMTH, the school radio station. A future in performance was hinted at by this modest beginning. Despite the fact that Ford had not yet realized his full potential in the entertainment industry, Ford attended Wisconsin's Ripon College after finishing high school, where he majored in philosophy at first. As he sought his niche and his interests during his time at university, he exuded an agitated intensity. At first, acting was completely out of his league. Actually, Ford enrolled in a theater class during his senior year merely as a means to an end, a decision that would ultimately alter the trajectory of his life. From his humble beginnings in that acting class at Ripon College, Ford would go on to achieve superstardom in Hollywood. But that wasn't how Ford's time at university unfolded. His suspension from Ripon College came just days before he was to graduate. Though few know the specifics, his suspension marked a watershed moment in his life. Although most people would have taken it personally, Ford regarded the situation as a chance to follow his acting dream. He then relocated to Los Angeles, hell-bent on becoming a Hollywood star. His early hardships helped shape the toughness and determination that would define his career, preparing him for the difficult route to greatness. Harrison obtained a deal with Columbia Pictures after relocating from Wisconsin to Los Angeles, but his early experiences in the industry were anything from easy. In the 1966 picture Dead Heat on a Merry-Go-Round, Ford had his first role in a small, uncredited capacity as a bellhop. In this position, doors were nearly slammed shut rather than opened. After seeing Ford perform, producer Jerry Tchaikovsky had nothing but negative things to say about him, drawing comparisons to Tony Curtis. According to Tchaikovsky, Ford was unable to match Curtis' ability to make a grocery delivery seem like a spectacular performance. However, Ford, who is renowned for his wit, responded by saying that Curtis would be delivering groceries like a bellhop if he had genuine talent. Tchaikovsky was not pleased by Ford's playful reply, and he promptly lost his job. Ford persisted in pursuing his Hollywood goals despite this early disappointment. Like his part in Love, he persisted in pursuing small parts, many of which went unnoticed. He was finally able to get his break in A Time for Killing thanks to his dogged determination. To separate himself from a silent film actor of the same name, he temporarily added a J to his name, but he quickly removed it. Ford collaborated with Universal Studios in the 60s and 70s, making cameo appearances on hit TV series such as The Virginian, Gunsmoke, and Ironside. In addition to his work with the band The Doors, he dabbled in westerns like Journey to Shiloh and even operated the camera for one of their tours. Being cast as the lead in Model Shop by French filmmaker Jacques Demy was one of the most fascinating what-if situations in Ford's early career. But Columbia Pictures boss passed on Ford's talent and cast Gary Lockwood, an experienced actor, in his stead. Despite passing up the chance, Ford thought back on it fondly and was grateful for Demy's confidence in him. Ford persisted in moving ahead, performing in minor roles in feature films such as Getting Straight, American Graffiti, and The Conversation. Until 1977, though, not a thing changed. The part of Han Solo, played by Harrison Ford in Star Wars, shot him to stardom. Han Solo became an icon in popular culture after the film's tremendous popularity. Star Wars wasn't the end of Ford's success, though. He played the legendary Indiana Jones in 1981's Raiders of the Lost Ark. This daring archaeologist would go on to become a beloved character in his own right, inspiring a fruitful series. In Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049, among other famous films, Ford continued to give outstanding performances. He also portrayed Jack Ryan in Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger. Ford went on to have a stellar career in cinema and television during the next decades. Witness and The Fugitive were two of his critically appreciated films. Acting in TV programs such as Shrinking and 1923 Inches has allowed him to expand his audience throughout generations and mediums. Ford has become one of Hollywood's most bankable stars because to his films, which have earned billions of dollars worldwide. The reviewers and public alike have praised his versatility and the depth of character he can bring to each role. Both his acting chops and his attitude toward the business are what make Ford unique. Fans and co-workers alike have come to appreciate his humble demeanor and quick wit. Like the situation involving producer Jerry Tarkovsky, Ford kept his humor and refused to let rejection or criticism deter him. However, Ford's private life has not been without its difficulties, even though he has achieved tremendous success. The intricacies of celebrity relationships and privacy have been challenges for him, as they are for many in the public glare. Both his fans and the media have been captivated by his private life, especially his marriages. Come with me as I tell you the tale of Ford's marriages and the ups and downs that have molded his life's path. Harrison Ford wed Mary Marquardt in 1964. He was a young actor, yet a few years away from his big break in Hollywood. Benjamin and Willard were born into this union, which lasted for 15 years. Even Ford's personal life appeared to be flourishing as his career started to soar. Benjamin inherited his father's business acumen and went on to become a prosperous restaurateur. He currently co-owns the gastropub Ford's Filling Station at Lax. However, Willard dabbled in the fashion industry by starting the Ludwig Clothing Company and was the former owner of the Los Angeles-based Strong Sports Gym. But as Ford's fame grew, problems in his personal life began to surface. Unanticipated challenges arose during the actor's skyrocketing rise to popularity as Han Solo in Star Wars. Ford had a short but passionate affair with Princess Leia co-star Carrie Fisher in 1976 while filming the legendary space opera. The Princess Diarist, Fisher's memoir, disclosed this affair, which strained Ford's marriage. It lasted 3 months. Both people were profoundly affected by the brief encounter. Particularly after their relationship ended, Fisher claimed to still having feelings for Ford. "Yes, I love him," she said frankly in a conversation with The Guardian. "Something will always cling to him in my heart." The strains on Ford's marriage to Marquardt from his affair and his rising stardom eventually broke their marriage. They were married for 15 years before divorcing in 1979. With this, Ford's first love story came to a close, and a new, more turbulent chapter in his life began. Melissa Matheson, a screenwriter, was Ford's second wife after his divorce from Marquardt. Their relationship started in 1976 on the set of Apocalypse Now, when Matheson was an assistant and Ford was Colonel Lucas. Their romance was instantaneous, but they didn't formally marry the wedding until 1983. The marriage of Ford and Matheson appeared to be the Hollywood ideal. Malcolm was born in October 1987 and Georgia was born in June 1990. They were blessed with 2 children. Malcolm followed in his father's footsteps by becoming a musician. Both children inherited their parents' artistic bent, and Georgia, who was acting like her famous father. Everything seemed to be going well for Ford and Matheson for 18 years. Happy marriages, fulfilling occupations, and supportive families, but first impressions are frequently deceiving, especially in Hollywood. They had been together for over 20 years when tensions started to rise. They went their separate ways at first, intending to resolve their issues and eventually get back together. Reconciliation appeared to be within reach for an instant. This brief window of optimism, however, was quickly dashed when the couple shocked their fans and friends by filing for divorce. It was not only emotionally and financially draining for Ford and Matheson to end their marriage. Reportedly, Ford lost an incredible $85 million in their divorce settlement because they did not have a prenuptial agreement, resulting in one of the priciest Hollywood divorces ever. Ford was one of the highest-paid performers in Hollywood at the time, making over $20 million each film. The settlement included a part of his earnings from movies made during their marriage, which was a substantial amount. Allegations of a romance between Ford and actress Laura Flynn Boyle only served to complicate their breakup. It seemed like the two were enjoying some passionate dates in New York City. Nevertheless, the manager representing Ford strongly refuted these allegations, maintaining that the couple had already ended their relationship prior to the emergence of these accusations. When Matheson tragically died in 2015 at the age of 65 from a fight with neuroendocrine cancer, the narrative of Ford and Matheson's romance took a tragic turn. Her untimely demise rocked the entertainment industry, especially among her close associates. Among Matheson's many accomplishments as a screenwriter is the script she wrote for Steven Spielberg's classic picture E.T. The Extraterrestrial. Her exceptional storytelling skills won her the respect of her peers and audiences alike, and they forever altered the course of cinematic history. After Matheson passed away, Spielberg posted a heartfelt homage to her, writing at the time of her death, Matheson left behind a $22 million fortune, which is believed to have been inherited by her children. Posthumously released in 2016, her screenplay for Spielberg's adaptation of Roald Dahl's The BFG was her last assignment, and it was a fitting tribute to her lasting ability. Even though they were no longer married, Ford secretly grieved for his ex-wife. His quiet after Matheson's death said a lot about the complicated feelings that can endure long after a marriage ends, even though he never made an official comment about it. Even after Matheson, Ford's path through love and grief continued. He rekindled his love affair in the years after his divorce with actress Callista Flockhart. Harrison's third marriage to Callista Flockhart is intriguing due to the significant age difference between the couple. Even though they're 22 years apart, Flockhart claims she frequently loses track of time. Their age gap is irrelevant to their relationship, she told a magazine. The simple things like Harrison's morning appearance are what she loves most about him. Not dashing yet endearing like a young lad. There is more to their relationship than meets the eye. Flockhart adopted Liam before she met Ford, and he is also a part of it. It didn't take long for Ford and Liam to hit it off. Ford formally took Liam under their wing in 2010, taking on the role of father once more against his will. According to Ford, it was effortless, and the two have remained close ever since. Ford and Flockhart tied the knot after 8 years of dating, but they had their own unique ceremony. Ford was filming in New Mexico, so they decided to have a little ceremony there instead of a huge Hollywood wedding. They were wed by their buddy, the governor of New Mexico. Their son Liam was one of the few individuals present. A quiet, uncomplicated affair. Precisely as desired. Ford and Flockhart both found excitement in flying airplanes. Despite her initial fear, she eventually came to trust that Ford would protect her. In 2015, when Ford was involved in a tragic plane disaster, their trust was challenged. His weathered plane eventually condescended and landed on a golf course. Despite suffering injuries, Ford managed to stay alive. His love for flying and Flockhart's support for him persisted even after the accident. They experienced an uncomfortable situation at a French film festival in May of 2023. People erupted in applause as they entered the theater to see Ford's new Indiana Jones film. Ford, though, soon realized that Flockhart was absent from his seat. After him she stood. A calm "well, that's how it is" was all Ford needed to answer the situation. He later thanked Flockhart for her support in a speech. Flockhart, on the other hand, has spoken publicly about her experiences with weight-related teasing. Throughout the 90s, when she was a cast member of Ally McBeal, she was considered to be extremely underweight, leading some to speculate that she suffered from anorexia. Flockhart expressed her deep sadness and dissatisfaction with the rumors, saying they diminished her enjoyment of her time on the show. She made an effort to tune out the gossip and concentrate on her job. Flockhart felt secure in herself because she understood she was mostly a nice person. She said that her naturally slim build is a result of her genes. Even her mother is petite. In Flockhart's opinion, such crude comments regarding a person's weight have long since faded from society, since it is now recognized as harmful and referred to as body shaming. Although it was a tough time, Flockhart may be willing to reprise her role as Ally McBeal in a new series. She has just landed a new part in a historical drama series. Ford is still appearing in major motion pictures despite being in his 80s. Although he has sustained injuries while filming stunts, he continues to pursue his craft. Because Ford can come across as irritable in interviews at times, some have speculated that he suffers from social anxiety. On the other hand, Ford denies it. Boring situations simply do not sit well with him. Moreover, Ford has been forthright about a few issues he has faced. After receiving assistance, he was able to control his alcohol consumption. He also discusses methods for managing pain that do not include heavy medicines because he has experienced back pain. Although therapy isn't something Ford enjoys doing for himself, he believes it can help others. The renowned actor has also spoken publicly about his epileptic daughter, Georgia. This demonstrates his openness to talking about sensitive topics. No matter how certain he is of his own mental state, the fact that Ford is aging so gracefully is the one thing that everyone can't help but notice. He was named the sexiest man alive by a magazine when he was 56 years old. People are curious about his health regimen now that he's 82 years old. Currently, Ford claims to consume largely plants, according to a TV show. His diet consists entirely of fish and veggies. He abstains from dairy and meat. Though he might just be stating the obvious, Ford claims his diet is dal. A wide variety of spices can greatly enhance the flavor of fish and vegetables. Hence, returning to our original inquiry, are these rumors about Calista Flockhart's departure true? The answer is obvious, I suppose. Everything that has transpired thus far suggests that she is staying with Harrison Ford. It would indicate that their bond is robust and mutually beneficial. They still show up to public events as a couple and live together on their Wyoming property. It appears that the uncomfortable seating situation they experienced at the film festival was more of a fluke than an indication of more significant issues. To express his gratitude to Flockhart, Ford included a thank you note in his address. It seems like they have a solid foundation of trust, respect, and shared experiences in their relationship. Together, they have overcome obstacles in their personal and professional lives, such as health problems and allegations of body shaming. Giving his life meaning and purpose implies a strong, long-lasting connection. In your opinion, how attractive is this couple? Put them in the comments if you like. To stay up to date with all the latest content, subscribe to our channel and hit that like button.